I never thought I'd be the kind of person telling this story. But here we are, 6 years down the drain. And apparently I'm the villain in everyone's version of events. But let me tell you what really happened. Because the truth is a lot more complicated than everyone wants to admit. I met David at a coffee shop when I was 23. He was sweet, steady, the kind of guy who remembered your favorite order and actually listened. Everything felt easy with him. My best friend, Vanessa, had been in my life since college. She was gorgeous, charismatic, and had always been there for me through my dad's heart attack, my anxiety attacks during finals, and every bad boyfriend before David. So when David pulled me aside after meeting her and said he got weird vibes from Vanessa, I was shocked. She seems a little intense, he said. I laughed it off, explaining it was just her being protective. But I could see he wasn't convinced, and his expression irritated me. If he couldn't see how amazing she was, maybe he didn't know me as well as I thought. Over the next few months, I noticed how David would tense up whenever Vanessa was around. He'd suddenly have work to do, or complain about the restaurant she chose for my birthday. It was like he was determined to find fault with everything she did. Vanessa noticed too. He just doesn't understand female friendships, she said one night. Some guys get threatened by close friendships. They want to be the only important person in your life. The word isolate stuck with me. Was that what David was trying to do? He always seemed to have an excuse when Vanessa was involved. It wasn't a direct no, but always some reason why he couldn't participate in things that mattered to me. When David proposed after 3 years, I was over the moon. But wedding planning turned into a battle. Vanessa had so many creative ideas, and David shot down every single one. When I brought up her suggestion for a special entrance, he said, "This is our wedding, not a stage for Vanessa to perform on." I let the sentence hang, and he backed down. He always backed down when I pushed, and it made me lose a little respect for him. Vanessa was right. He seemed threatened by our friendship. After we got married, things should have been perfect. But David kept trying to put boundaries around my friendship with Vanessa. I feel like Vanessa's a little too involved in our lives, he said one night. Can we set some boundaries? She's my best friend, I told him. I can't just shut her out because you're uncomfortable. A year later, the situation came to a head when Vanessa's boyfriend dumped her via text. She showed up at our door, sobbing. I pulled her inside and told her she could stay as long as she needed. David's face went through several expressions, landing on resigned frustration. He later confronted me, saying we should have discussed it first. I told him she had nowhere else to go and that we had an empty guest room. Those next few weeks were tense. Vanessa was grieving and needed support, but David took her needs as a personal attack on his comfort. When she rearranged things in the kitchen or used his expensive coffee pods, he got snippy. She's grieving, I reminded him. Can't you have a little compassion? I do have compassion, he said. But Emma, she's been here for 3 weeks. She's rearranging our house and acting like she pays rent. She offered to pay rent, I said. I told her not to worry about it. Without asking me, it's our house. David, I don't need permission to help my best friend. I could see the resentment building in him, and it was ugly. He was only thinking about his precious routine being disrupted, not the fact that someone I loved was going through a terrible heartbreak. Things came to a head a month into her stay. I came home to find David and Vanessa in a heated argument. She'd borrowed his drill, and he was furious that she hadn't asked. I'm perfectly capable of hanging shelves. Thanks. I don't need a man to do basic tasks for me, she said. It's not about being a man. It's about it being my house and my tools. He shot back. That's when he told her she needed to leave. Vanessa looked at me, waiting for me to defend her. David had an expression I'd never seen before, absolutely immovable. There's nothing to talk about. She needs to find somewhere else to stay, he said. I was being forced to choose, and I chose Vanessa. It took me 3 days to help her find a tiny, expensive studio apartment. She cried, and I cried with her. I'm so sorry. I said, this isn't how I wanted things to go. She said it wasn't my fault, but I knew I was married to the man who'd kicked her out. I'd chosen him over her. The guilt ate at me for days. David acted like everything was back to normal, but I felt like I'd betrayed the most important person in my life. A few days later, Vanessa and I met for brunch. After a tense conversation, she confessed she'd seen David in a parking lot, making out with another woman. I felt like I was going to throw up. I confronted David at home. He denied it completely, saying he was just grocery shopping. He handed me his phone, but I knew he was smart enough to delete evidence. Why would Vanessa lie about something like that? I asked, maybe because she's pissed off that I asked her to leave. Maybe because she wants to break us up, he said, his voice full of disgust for her. He was trying to turn this around on Vanessa, and it just confirmed my suspicions. Over the next week, I watched him carefully, checking his credit card statements and the mileage on his car. He saw my suspicion. Don't let her do this to us, he pleaded. I moved into the guest room, and a few days later, I packed a bag, left him a text, and drove to my parents' house. My parents were supportive at first, but our mutual friends took David's side. Hannah, a close friend, told me I should reconsider. Did you see any actual evidence besides what Vanessa told you? She asked. Even my mother questioned it. You're being stupid. Emma, she said, David is a good man, and you're throwing away your marriage because of something that drama queen told you. Still, I couldn't get past the fact that Vanessa had seen David with another woman. That wasn't something you made up. I believed it happened. 2 months after I left David, I got a call from Sophie, one of Vanessa's friends from work. We met for coffee, and she showed me screenshots of a text conversation. Vanessa, phase 1 complete. Emma totally bought the cheating story. Jessica, I still can't believe you made that up. What if she finds out? Vanessa, she won't. She's too trusting. And even if she does, the damage is done. No way David takes her back after this. My hands were shaking. She made it up. The whole thing, I whispered. Sophie nodded sadly. I think she was jealous. She's never had a relationship that lasted, and watching you be happy with David. I think it ate at her. I called David, and we met at a coffee shop. I showed him the screenshots, and his face went from shock to a kind of sad understanding. She really did this, he said quietly. I apologized, begging him to fix things. But he shook his head. I don't think we can fix this. Emma, it's not about the apology. It's about the fact that you were so ready to believe the worst about me. You didn't give me a chance. You just left. You sent me a text message and called a lawyer. He was right. I had chosen Vanessa over him again and again, even when he was trying to protect our marriage. The divorce was final 6 months later. The social fallout was brutal. Everyone who'd been cold to me now understood. Hannah apologized, saying she couldn't believe David would cheat. I called Vanessa. She was unrepentant. I was trying to protect you, she said, from a man who was trying to isolate you. You destroyed my marriage. I said, I freed you from a controlling relationship. She replied, that was the last conversation we had. The truth came out, and she was ostracized by our entire social circle and lost her job. I'm 35 now, living in a small apartment. David is doing well, dating a lovely, drama-free teacher. I've tried to rebuild my social life, but people still judge me. My mother still says I threw away a good man. I know she's right. I was so invested in being a loyal friend that I forgot how to be a loyal wife. I was so ready to believe David had betrayed me because it confirmed what Vanessa had been telling me all along. I miss him, and I miss the person I was with him, someone who was loved unconditionally by a good man who deserved better than what I gave him. They say you don't know what you have until it's gone, but that's not quite right. I knew what I had. I just didn't think it was worth protecting from someone who wanted to take it away from me. By the time I realized what Vanessa had done, it was too late to undo the damage I'd helped her create. So here I am, alone, trying to figure out how to be the kind of person who deserves the love I threw away. The weeks following our brunch were a living hell. I was a ghost in my own home, going through the motions of life while a relentless paranoia consumed me. Every time David's phone buzzed, my heart hammered against my ribs. Every time he said he was working late, I imagined him in a parking lot, his car a silent, metallic stage for his betrayal. He seemed to sense the shift, the coldness that had settled between us like a thick fog. Emma, what's going on? He asked one night, his voice laced with concern. You've been weird all week. I sat across from him at the dinner table, the food on my plate untouched. I'm just thinking about some things, I said, my voice flat. What things? About whether I really know you as well as I thought I did? He put down his fork, his eyes searching mine. Is this about what Vanessa said? Because Emma, I swear to you, I was not with another woman. I don't know why she told you that, but it's not true. The way he said it, so calm, so reasonable, was exactly what Vanessa had warned me about. Cheaters lie with a straight face. They make you question your own sanity. His earnestness felt like a performance, a carefully rehearsed act designed to make me feel crazy. She's been my best friend for years. David, she has no reason to lie to me, I said, my voice trembling slightly. Doesn't she? She's been trying to come between us since the day we met. And now that I've finally set some boundaries, suddenly I'm cheating on you. The timing is pretty convenient. He was trying to turn this around on her, just as I'd suspected. So your theory is that my best friend made up an elaborate lie about seeing you cheat, just because she's mad about having to move out. I stared at him, daring him to admit it. I don't know what her motivations are, he said, holding my gaze. I just know I wasn't with anyone yesterday. I couldn't live like this anymore. The suspicion was a poison, seeping into every corner of our marriage. I need some space to think, I told him. What does that mean? It means I'm going to sleep in the guest room for a while. His face fell. Emma, please, don't let her do this to us. She's not doing anything to us. You did this to us. I moved into the guest room that night, and it felt like crossing a point of no return. The bed still smelled faintly of Vanessa's perfume, and I lay there thinking about how she'd tried to warn me about David's controlling behavior. She'd seen this coming before I did. Over the next few days, I avoided David. I ate my meals alone, came home late from work, and pretended to be asleep when he knocked on the guest room door. I couldn't bear to look at him, to see the face of the man who I was sure had betrayed me. Finally, I knew what I had to do. I couldn't stay in the same house with him, pretending everything was normal. I packed a bag while he was at work, left him a text saying I was staying at my parents' and that he should expect to hear from my lawyer, and drove the 3 hours to my childhood home. The moment I said it out loud to my mother, David cheated on me, it felt more real. My parents were confused but supportive. They had always liked David, but they loved me more. The next few weeks were a blur of lawyer meetings and paperwork. David tried calling and texting, but I wasn't ready to talk to him. He'd lied, he'd cheated, and he'd tried to make my best friend look like a liar to cover his own tracks. There was no coming back from that. What surprised me was how our mutual friends reacted. I expected them to be supportive, to rally around me the way they would for any friend going through a divorce. Instead, they seemed to be taking David's side. Hannah, a close friend since college, barely responded to my texts. When I finally got her on the phone, she was cold and distant. Emma, I think you should really think about what you're doing, she said. What do you mean? I mean, David is a good guy. And this whole situation with Vanessa, it seems like maybe you're not getting the whole story. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Hannah, he cheated on me. Vanessa saw him with another woman. But did you see him? Did you see any actual evidence besides what Vanessa told you? The conversation left me feeling shaken and confused. But then I'd remember the look on Vanessa's face when she told me about seeing David with that woman, the pain in her voice. That wasn't the behavior of someone making things up. My mother was even more blunt. You're being stupid. Emma, she said one morning, David is a good man, and you're throwing away your marriage because of something that drama queen told you. She's a troublemaker who's been jealous of your relationship since day one. I wanted to argue, but something about what my mother said resonated with me. Every problem I'd had with David had somehow involved Vanessa, the wedding planning, the boundary issues. And now this. Had she been working to break us up for years? It seemed impossible, but the timing felt suspicious. Still, I couldn't shake the image of David making out with another woman. That wasn't something you misunderstood. 2 months after I left David, I got a call from Sophie, one of Vanessa's friends from work. Emma, I need to talk to you about something, she said, her voice grim. We met for coffee, and she showed me screenshots of a text conversation between Vanessa and a friend. Vanessa, phase 1 complete. Emma totally bought the cheating story. Jessica, I still can't believe you made that up. What if she finds out? Vanessa, she won't. She's too trusting. And even if she does, the damage is done. No way David takes her back after this. I stared at the screen, reading the messages over and over again, the words searing into my brain. She made it up. The whole thing, I whispered. It looks that way, Sophie said. I'm so sorry. I sat there, frozen, the coffee shop spinning around me. My best friend, the person I trusted more than anyone, the person I defended against my husband, the person I'd chosen over my marriage had lied to me. She'd made up an entire story about David cheating, knowing it would destroy our relationship. Why? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Sophie shrugged sadly. I think she was jealous. She's never had a relationship that lasted, and watching you be happy with David, I think it ate at her. I called David that afternoon. We met at a coffee shop, and I showed him the screenshots. Watching his face go through the same emotions I'd experienced, confusion, disbelief, and then a kind of sad understanding. She really did this, he said quietly. I'm so sorry. David, I should have believed you. I should have trusted my husband over someone else. You didn't know because you didn't even give me a chance, he said, a deep hurt in his voice. We were married. Emma, we promised to trust each other, to work through problems together. But the first time someone told you I was cheating, you didn't even question it. I could see in his eyes that he'd already made his decision. David, please, I love you. We can fix this. I love you too, he said, but I can't be married to someone who doesn't trust me. And Emma, honestly, I can't be married to someone who would choose Vanessa over me again and again. Even after everything that happened, the divorce was finalized 6 months later. The social fallout was brutal. Once David shared the screenshots with our friends, everyone who had been cold to me suddenly understood. Hannah called to apologize, saying she was so sorry for not being more supportive. I couldn't believe David would cheat, she said. I tried calling Vanessa, but she was unrepentant. I was trying to protect you, she said, from a man who was trying to isolate you from the people who cared about you. You destroyed my marriage. I freed you from a controlling relationship. That was the last conversation we had. The consequences for her were swift. She was ostracized by our social circle, lost her job, and moved back in with her parents. As for me, I'm 35 now, living in a small apartment. I hear David is doing well, dating a lovely, drama-free teacher. I've tried to rebuild my social life, but people still look at me with judgment, wondering if I'll believe the next lie someone tells me. My mother still brings up the situation sometimes. You had a good man, Emma, and you threw it away because of that girl. I know she's right. I was so invested in being a loyal friend that I forgot how to be a loyal wife. I believed Vanessa's lies over David's truth, and by the time I realized what she had done, it was too late to undo the damage I had helped her create. I threw away the love of a good man, and for that, I am truly alone.